Colleagues, now we'll switch to the main panel discussion. I hope that you had enough time to think over on your talks. I invite the first model will be moderated on the international instrument. I invite Mr. Torsten Wöllert. Please take a seat on the stage. Please take any seat you like. And I also invite our speakers, Alla Kinshchak, from the Ministry of Environment and Agriculture, Kristina Mikulova, head of the European Investment Bank Regional Office, Koval-Honchar, Program Coordinator for Public Finance and Infrastructure, the Embassy of Switzerland, Zamazeeva, the head of the State Agency on Energy Efficiency and Energy Saving Conservation, Olena Smyrnova, head of the Swedfund in Ukraine, and Pierre-Yves Bielot, Program Manager, Ukraine Investment Framework. The floor is open to Torsten. Thank you. Thank you very much for the invitation. Я зараз перейду на англійську мову. Тобто у нас буде певний баланс в частині використання мови.
For all of us, after such deep analysis, to talk about what we are doing and to try to see how this fits in the big picture. But I'm very glad that we have this very representative top-class panel, because what we are trying to do with project preparation is not only to drive down cost, which is very important, which also Jocelyn mentioned, but it's also to increase the level of trust. And just as a personal remark before starting, this is also one of the remarks that I have heard quite a lot, and I also experienced myself living here, that the level of trust in Ukraine is probably much lower than in many other countries where I lived. Because the trust systems, they may be different trust systems. In some societies, it's the family. In others, it's the neighborhood, like in the US. In some, it's the state, like, I don't know, in Sweden. Or it can be a religion. But Ukraine really needs to build trust. And anything that we can do to help building trust is positive for the country. And anything that is being done to destroy trust is bad for the country, no matter under which pretext and for which reason. So I hope that we, with our panel, can contribute to building trust. And I would very much like to invite Alla Kinshchak to start with her presentation. The purpose is to present the different options for project preparation. What is available to communities, to businesses, to prepare projects in a way that they can be implemented effectively, that they can be financed, etc. So, Alla, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Torsten. Thank you for the organizers for the nice opportunity to communicate and to network. It's also important to mention that for us it's important not to reconstruct but to construct from scratches. And the key aspect of this construction, as Torsten said, is trust. Trust is built on the mechanisms. They are known pretty well for all of us. And in this context, project preparation and project drafting is the key issue. And for us, it's important to empower capacities at all the levels, national level, local level, and to prepare high-quality programs and projects that will be built when we will do a real construction of new cities and towns and new realities for our citizens. On the part of the ministry, I would like to say that we are actively engaged and implement the ongoing programs. We have the program with the national government, Ukraine First. It is implemented in support of the European Commission and the European Investment Bank. TPF is another issue. It's a pretty well-known abbreviation. It's capacity building of the national bodies in project preparation. Also, the reform of public investment management also now is in focus. Actually, two levels of assessment are engaged, that is sectoral level, and then three ministry level expertise, which will try to analyze consistency of these projects. And currently, in the end of September, August, we have actually renewed the project portfolio, 195 initiatives, 131 is the project, 65 are the programs on public investments. And these, they are at different phases, some of them actually in the very early phases, some of them are in the more advanced phases in order technical feasibility studies to be prepared, because some programs and projects are very scalable, and no doubt it's important also to identify what will be the financial resources. And project documentation to be also prepared in order to reach the mapped out objectives. All these projects and programs actually have been approved. We have approved 4 projects already, 1 in transport, 2 in health sector, and we will see how the proposed instruments will work. PPF also, it is proposed to use these approaches at local level. Coordinated approaches will be very important because all these will build up the framework for all the actors, and in approval we also have certain tasks that have been approved by the government. Actually, the expertise center is approved, and how we should really implement this exercise. Also, with support of the World Bank support, we worked on the concept on the 3-level systems that will cover both national and local level, and these expertise centers really will be the centers of initiation of programs.
It will help the local self-government bodies to prepare high-quality portfolios that will be the basis of local investment programs, and it will help to involve more money, and if the documents are well prepared. Actually, at the beginning of December, the public presentation of this concept is planned, and all stakeholders will be invited for discussion. It will be an open public event where all interested parties will be able to participate, and we will be interested also to create a concept that we will be able to present to the government. And since the beginning of the next year, we plan to implement at the regional level, and the concept says that at the level of regions, such flaws should be the agencies of regional development, and because these are existing institutions, because they have some experience in of development and participation in the competitions, and in our opinion, this is the best starting floor that will be able to take the functions of expert organizations. Also, we plan to create and on the level of the state, inside the ministry, the certification center that will consider and confirm the level of experts, and we will have the database of experts in this field, and they will provide services to all stakeholders and institutions, so that to train and to prepare and introduce efficient projects. So, for this year was a bit of a methodology year. We adopted the main legislatory acts, and the next year we plan to devote to capacity building, to training, increasing of institutional capacities for all levels. That is why I invite all to participate in the consultations and implement the tasks that are in front of us. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Answer session after the presentations, but there will be one notable exception because Kristina has to leave soon. So I would ask Kristina to give her presentation, and then also to take one or two questions if you have time before leaving, if that's okay.
Дуже дякую. І я ще
Thank you very much. And I am the netmail of all translators, and because my combination of English and Ukrainian, it will not be today. But today I will go to English.
Thank you, colleagues, partners, distinguished audience, for having me on the panel today. I'm a development banker, and I think a lot in terms of figures, the development euro, the development hryvnia, EU guarantees that protect from risk all of our projects here in Ukraine. I think a lot in terms of currencies, but the only currency we are talking about today is the intangible currency of public trust. And I'd like to start with two stories. My previous posting was in Lebanon, and I arrived in 2023 when the local crisis, energy crisis, financial crisis in institutions was really peaking. Électricité du Liban was providing almost no electricity to the population. There were full blackouts in certain parts of the country, certain parts of the capital city, and those of you who know Beirut as this party town, the entire strip of clubs at the coast was silent, it was dark, and people thought the spirit of this country is gone. And now, what happened afterwards? In the course of the next 2 years of my posting, The whole country, well, installed generators, but also almost completely solarized. And for a country like Lebanon that has 4 million people plus 1.5 million Syrian refugees, perhaps this is a little bit easier to do, but still it was amazing to witness such speed and such innovation under difficult circumstances. Now, what is the downside of that story? The population did it almost entirely by itself, of course, with the help of donors, international partners, financiers, but not with the help of public authorities. That was a population that lost trust that the government could do anything for them. Now, what I see here in Ukraine is very different. Despite the fact that we have had quite a few difficult conversations over the past 2 weeks about public trust, about the use of public funds, about wrongdoing, about misconduct, what I'm seeing is that public authorities, in fact, are taking responsibility. And the anti-corruption agencies that, among other things, the public protests saved in the summer are doing their job. So for me, if you compare these two stories, there's quite a lot of hope here in Ukraine. So what is our contribution? As the European Investment Bank, the EU bank that works shoulder to shoulder with the European Commission, with EU member states, Team Europe, almost all of the partners here on this panel. I would like to divide my contribution into two parts. What do we do on the regional and local level with communities? And what do we do on the national level in the more systemic efforts that Ms. Alla talked about when it comes to the single project pipeline, scalable, large projects that will be really imperative during full-scale reconstruction as soon as it starts. On the local level, our work with communities now amounts to almost 1 billion euros. And this may seem, again, to a banker as a big number. But those big envelopes need to be sliced into very, very small pieces. I visited a small community in the Mykolaiv region of only 1,000 people. What they need is to replace some water pipes. I mean, that is 400,000 euros. Or then a slightly bigger community near Ivano-Frankivsk that is repairing a heating system. The value of that project is around 1 million euros. So imagine that 1 billion. And then these small-scale projects that you're implementing all across Ukraine. And we work with all communities, EU frontier, so those that are in the west, in the center of the country, and also the front line, right? So Chernihiv, Dnipropetrovsk, Kharkiv, Mykolaiv, Odessa, Sumy, Zaporizhia. We have projects almost everywhere. Where is the risk in distributing these costs, allocating them to extremely small projects, making sure that the funds are used, especially those related to winterization? We have a big district heating program. We also have a water recovery program right now. First of all, the strength of these programs lies in effective coordination with the promoter. So the promoter is the entity that receives the money in their accounts. Right? So this is the Ministry of Development of Communities and Territories of Ukraine, of course with the Ministry of Finance, very often Ministry of Economy, Agriculture and Environment, also contributing to the selection procedure. Or we are also trying a new modality now because speed is of essence ahead of the winter with the local banks. So 100 million for district heating to Ukreexim Bank, 50 million to UGB Kurgas Bank and Oshchat Bank as well, all for projects to local communities. It could be small scale gas-fired combined heat and power plants. It could be solar PV complemented by batteries, other storage technologies, decentralized heat generation. Then also we have components that will bolster the physical and cyber security of the infrastructure, energy efficiency in public buildings, heat pumps, heat storage systems. A full list of what is eligible to finance under these programs can be shared by our office or is even available on the bank's website. So by working with the ministries, by working with the banks, we are ensuring that the selection procedure of where this money goes, which projects get it, which don't, is transparent based on very clear criteria. Communities apply with projects that are in the DREAM platform, and then either the ministry or the banks in collaboration with the EIB, with the ministries very often, also contributing their guidance, decides who is actually a beneficiary, right? So this is the first layer. So where the money goes, what happens to the money afterwards? Is the project then fully implemented, or are there delays? Are there cost overruns? The implementation phase is equally important, just to make sure that every single development euro or hryvnia is doing its job. And here we also rely on a network of partners, and I'm very proud, for example, to mention UNDP and GIZ that are on our behalf in collaboration with us, and very often also with the European Commission partners, working on preparing projects, implementing projects, monitoring, assessing those cost overruns, seeing if they're warranted, turning back to us and asking, can we approve a hike in that budget, and so on, right? Very often I'm present then at the completion or inauguration ceremony. I've attended, I think, around 25 this year, really all across Ukraine, and we will be completing 41 such of sub-projects just in the half year that will conclude in December. So is this bulletproof? Maybe not. But as you can see, with all of this machinery, we're doing everything that we possibly can. And if we do receive a complaint, if we receive a comment from members of the community, civil society, private contractor, we do our best to address it. We have a specialized department under our Inspector General that takes these investigations very seriously. And this is how we proceed. Very often, UNDP, GIZ, any other partner who's involved runs their own investigation in parallel. So instead of one, you have two or three. So once again, maybe it sounds like a lot of bureaucracy, but we are very, very proud of how the programs are working so far, working on correcting any mistakes. When it comes to scale, right? So here we're moving from the local level to the national level. And Ms. Alla has mentioned the single project pipeline, and one of the project preparation facilities that is going to support it is joint with us, the European Commission, and the EBRD, Ukraine First. This will serve the projects in the single project pipeline. We are already starting, so we have agreed with the World Bank, for example, that we will be jointly preparing the package for the M15 project in the Odessa region that should foster safe, secure, meaningful connections with the EU single market through the neighboring member states. So this, for your information, is one of the pilots, but of course there will be many more. What will Ukraine First do? Well, some of the more abstract objectives. It will accelerate readiness, contribute to successful implementation of public investment projects, supporting Ukraine's recovery. It will also prepare these projects in a way that is in line with the EU accession pathway, and this is really very important. Likewise, it will promote the preparation of projects that align with the standards of IFIs, right? Very often when it comes to environmental social standards, procurement, we are a community, and if you are meeting the standards of one, you're likely meeting at least to a great extent, the standards of the others. Types of support. What will this money finance? Pre-feasibility studies, feasibility studies, environmental and social impact assessments, climate risk assessments. As the EU Climate Bank, we're constantly trying to foster the green transition pathway here in Ukraine, even in times of war. Financing and tariff plans, project designs, procurement plans, and tender dossiers, and also other things. This has received 20 million in terms of funding from the EU's Ukraine facility, complementary 5 million euros from EIB and 5 from EBRD. Also, we have allocated technical assistance in collaboration with the project preparation units, and other donor contributions have also been collected to support this initiative through the Cooperation Fund. For example, from the Netherlands of 10 million, Italy of 1.5 million. So this was the abstract description of what this will do. And apart from the M15, we're currently discussing energy and health projects, so stay tuned. But most importantly, yesterday I had a very, very welcome opportunity to meet the students that have just enrolled in a master's program on public procurement. This is a program that is supported by multiple IFIs, not just us, multiple governments, Italy, and so on. And I was looking at the students, many of them mid-career professionals with very serious expressions on their faces. And the ambassador of Italy used this sentence: "With great power comes great responsibility." I don't know if you remember this, but this is a quote from Spider-Man, right? And I thought, what courage do these people have to embrace the challenge of dealing with public funds, with all of the challenges, all of the pressure that is typically experienced. And I could not but congratulate them. And I think we all should, because this exercise in public trust is easily one of the most important that a society can have with its government. Thank you.
Дуже дякую, Kristina.
Thank you, Kristina.
Ukrainian, and I envy you. Because I know you have to leave in 5 minutes, I have one question, and maybe we can take also one question if people here in the room. The director of the Frontier Institute told us that Ukraine doesn't need to be reconstructed, it needs to be constructed anew. And I don't want to repeat what he said, if we reconstruct what will happen, which was not very nice, to all of us. So we better take it seriously. And my question is, on your activity in the pipeline, but also which is planned, how much do you think is new construction, so really new, changing the structure essentially, and what is reconstruction, building on the existing structures?
No, thank you, Torsten, for this question. And maybe, again, if you can return in your minds to that story of Lebanon and the story of Ukraine shared as I see it through my own eyes. There's idea, there's identity, there's policies, and there's behavior. And all of this takes a very, very long time. When I was in university, I actually studied the EU integration process as a process of socialization, knowing that the full alignment in terms of behaviors, in terms of values, may take decades, right? And, now that we look at the EU, some of the member states inside, some of the experts, some of us even, are questioning, is this process linear? Does it just continue, or is it reversible? Do we return to certain behaviors and cycles? Do we need to reinvent ourselves constantly? And I think this is really what Ukraine is extremely good at. The country as an idea is already very well established, the country as an identity likewise. But what we've seen in the summer was also a public outcry to protect institutions, to protect standards, to protect policies. This is not common. This is a behavior of a mature country, of a mature democracy. So what are we building that is new? What are we reconstructing? What are we improving? I would say that the majority of our work in very close collaboration with you, Torsten, with the European Commission, with member states, with other donors and partners, is about bolstering, strengthening, improving, and reminding, right? That this backsliding, one step forward, two steps back, can happen. But if you have those institutions and you trust those institutions, this is really a very, very sound basis for you to go forward to that behavioral change, ultimately to ideational change. So I'm sorry if my response was a bit academic, but I hope nevertheless I addressed what you were after.
Well, it's all about building trust, and I think EIB and other international institutions have a huge role to play, because what I see is that these rules that you have are being seen as complicated, which is a problem. Especially smaller communities, they essentially are afraid of working with big international banks. But inherently, they see these rules as being fair and being trusted. And I think this has a value in itself in the current situation. So thanks a lot for coming and explaining to us. And you are free, I know you're under pressure, so you are free to leave. And you are the exception from everybody else on the panel here.
I just want to apologize to my fellow panelists for not being able to stay with you today. I would have really, really liked to hear your contributions. Likewise to the audience, I would have liked to interact with you more. Sadly, I cannot today, but please, our doors are always open. We are in the EU House with the EU Delegation. Please come see us, talk to us about your concerns, about your projects, about your ideas. Thank you.
Дуже дякую.
Thank you very much.
Next speaker, Maria Koval-Honchar. Also, please give us your presentation, and I would like to see you in 5-7 minutes concluding, if that's okay.
Так, спробуємо. Дякую, Торстене.
Thank you, Torsten. Доброго дня. Good morning. I still was thinking what language to be in my speech, I will speak Ukrainian, but slides will be in English for our guests. Actually, many community representatives are present here, but I decided to have my speech in Ukrainian. Let me introduce you the PPF initiative. PPF, this effort is supported by Swedish Confederation. I'm very happy to hear lots of presentations. Alla, Kristina have highlighted very many important issues. And now we will see that lots of issues to be in our focus because we play on the same field and we should keep to certain rules. Well, and a few context in order you will understand where we are. The costs allocated by the Swiss government actually it's a large-scale package, and they are planning to invite private sector from Switzerland for the recovery and reconstruction efforts. So the plan covers 5 years, and this cooperation program is one of the largest programs compared to other international programs proposed to other countries. 500 million Swiss will be invited and allocated, and PPF instrument, it is one of the 6 efforts. Then what will be our objectives? It will be one of our examples. Because you see that public transport has been modernized in Lviv, and we offer such fancy trams to the communities. What is our objective? We play in the same field, so it means what we will be doing. We will be doing project preparation. We will also give the support to these projects with the relevant feasibility analysis, and all this actually will facilitate this process in communities. As to the sector efforts, its traditional efforts, it is renewable energy sources, energy efficiency, in certain buildings or at the utilities, at the level of utilities, urban transports, water and sanitation. And we will not limit us with these sectors. We know that there are other subsectors in municipal economy, and we are ready to focus on them as well. So for us, it's important also we have the budget of 21 million Swiss francs, 3 components. This is project preparation, feasibility study, and other relevant documentation for the projects, co-funding arrangements, and support for the Ukrainian and Swiss networks. Our first component is a traditional component. It's clear for all of us. A solid document, it is must. When we speak about the community level effort. Sometimes communities say they have project documentation, they have feasibility study, we don't have money. But in Zhytomyr and Vinnytsia also there is a number of many programs and projects that have been prepared, and the expertise center is setting up. It's so critical. We were visiting Khmelnytsky city. It's a big city, but they need real support. They would like to give more support to their economic department in order to be more proficient in the realm of project preparation and feasibility analysis. That's why you see it takes lots of time, and they are ready to get this training. Actually, we have launched this program already, and this project could be. It's intermunicipality cooperation programs could be. And we are planning also to work with all the actors. But, for example, we discuss finding arrangements. We understand it could be budgetary resources or grant resources invited as well, in addition to the project, the resources made available by the Swiss government. It's clear that this project includes experts from Ukraine and from Switzerland. For us, it's important to have a conceptual approach and to find technical solutions. It's a complex exercise, very creative. For us, for experts, will be very important to rely on the solutions that will be demanded in Ukraine. No doubt we will be working on this. As I said, we started and launched this investment program in summer. We are ready to work with all the stakeholders who are ready to work. If you see, for example, any opportunity to merge the efforts of Ukraine and Switzerland, you are much welcome. Also, it is important to mention that in our focus will be the implementation phase as well. And the third component is development of Swiss-Ukrainian networks. We have Swiss-Ukrainian Agency on Reconstruction. It's a sort of a platform on merging Ukrainian and Swiss businesses. SURA is the abbreviation of this agency. Maybe some institutional programs. And this will facilitate linkages and relations between relevant Ukrainian and Switzerland actors. Next slide. As I have mentioned, we have already started this program. We had tender already. NIRAS will be the implementing agency, the Swiss construction company, and also we will have some subcontractors. And as far as I know, the team of the project team has also addressed Mrs. Zamazeeva because they plan to start their 5-year effort very soon. And also we are interested to be included in the overall public resources management schemes, because for us it's important to understand how the projects to be selected, how this will be in line with the Gromada level project portfolios. We understand that we will be working on the best ever scheme in order to implement these projects. I look at Torsten, and now probably we will drop this slide. We will drop this slide. Actually, how we do select project, it will be direct on the request of the communities, because some projects will be selected in tendering, so we will have two arrangements in place. Actually, we can work only in the context. No doubt, we will work with the PPF government and government programs. And for us, it's important to work to prepare such feasibility documents that will be used in future. For us, it's important not to have feasibility studies, papers prepared and to be put in the drawers. We understand we have a very high requirements for the document preparation, and no doubt communities level prepared projects are invited, and no doubt they could be financed by the loan arrangements and grant arrangements. And we are planning to be very flexible. On one part, to invite Switzerland business to recovery and reconstruction programs, and also to work closely with international financiers. Also, my last slide will be with that. This is a Swiss-related component. You said that very many actors join the initiative. Actually, why do we have such a PPF program? No doubt we will invite Switzerland approaches and expertise. And further on, for us, it will be a real treat to see Switzerland investments in Ukraine. Also, we should actually reinforce with Ukrainian business networks, and we have a special instrument on preparation of project documentation. But when I listen to my colleagues, I understand we don't have a unique approach, and we will be ready also to cooperate with the colleagues whose representatives are present at our event. Thank you very much.
I think we have a direct response, which is always good.
Я хотіла б одразу прокоментувати, оскільки пані Марія сказала у своїй доповіді, що ви якраз працюєте над механізмом відбору проєктів. У цьому контексті я б також хотіла відзначити, що є діючий інструмент, міжвідомча робоча група з підготовки проєктів, яку очолює Мінекономіки, до складу якої входить Міністерство розвитку та Міністерство фінансів. Власне, основна її задача цієї робочої групи.
And the main task of this group is to help the PPF in selection of projects, so that to find out what are the priorities. And as you said, we expect the decision of the government, because we had staff changes, and that we needed to renew the powers of this working group, and shortly we will re-establish the composition, and we'll launch the activity. And we developed the methodology also that will define the mechanism for selection of projects from unified project on the state and on the local levels, and these projects will be proposed for consideration by the PPF. And the task of the interagency group, we will make the preliminary selection and analysis, and we will propose to you the pool of projects that will be on different levels, different phases of readiness, but they will be considered as a priority, and to make the use of implementation and the use of projects in the maximum way. Thank you very much.
Because we want to increase trust with our panel, so we should try to clarify as much as we can in the 1.5 hours that we have. I would like to invite Anna Zamazeeva to give the next presentation, because also in the perspective of rebuilding and building anew, energy efficiency is clearly not something from the past. Energy efficiency is not something Soviet. Nobody cared about energy efficiency in the Soviet Union. Energy efficiency is something about Europe, it's about the future, it's about another approach that energy is not free, energy comes with a price, you need investments, and you need to stimulate investments by trust, by market price, etc. So I'm very glad that you are on the panel, because it is about building something new. And I don't know what your presentation will be about, but I hope we will hear something also about the new things that will come. Thank you.
Дякую, Торстен. Can I speak Ukrainian? Шановні колеги.
Dear colleagues, I have the reflection of the presentation and the poll I had before, because we are the public servants here, and it's very difficult because it's a shame, and maybe it was the most honest poll and analysis as I heard, and it's what's very nice to hear it, and I can put my signature after this. The impression was strong. So coming back to the main problem of the panel, so the energy efficiency, really nobody thought about it, because it cost us so easy and so cheap, all energy. So we lost the value of this many decades ago. So we needed to change this feeling. This is the new lifestyle and our thinking and realizing of the future, how we should live. And first of all, I am the financial. I am not a. I am not the energy person. So I was in the. I was the head of regional council in Mikulova. So what is energy efficiency? It's about the economy, about the cost of our products in the consumer market, and it is almost about everything. And actually, we didn't need to invent something new, because we have a huge number of friendly countries where they have very efficient practices, which we had to select what to implement the most appropriate in which regions. We don't need to invent something. The practices that developed for 50 years since the first energy efficiency directive in 1976. Soon we will have 2026. It will be 50 years, and we needed to achieve the main goals in these 4 or 5 years. We started to do it before the war. So actually, we had to have what for this the finances and interaction between the central executive authorities and local authorities. So the initiative should come from bottom to top. We should provide all possibilities and honestly rebuild our laws and regulatory acts to implement this. So to actually to do it, that was our colleague from European Investment Bank was speaking, because when they don't work, they do everything for why in Podilsk the project was not implemented. But we hope that in Odessa region the project will be implemented with for the decarbonization with EIB and the local authority and city authorities. What the agency did in 2022, we created the Fund of Decarbonization of Ukraine to give this vital force and to speed up on this program on local municipalities and municipal companies and the industry. We selected these three categories because we have the energy efficiency funds that work in our country who do huge work with multi-story buildings, and so we selected as a field, and we had to help them, and so we understood the finance is not the only problem. So the problem, the fund is working now that provides financial assistance is to reduce cost, big reduction with 5% of interest per year. We know what we have is inflation, and that helps really to implement energy efficiency measures in municipalities. All measures that reduce the energy efficiency and reduction of emission of the carbon dioxide. So we created this institution, but we understood that the communities they cannot, they don't have competences to compose these projects in a quality way. So we started to help Gramadas very actively. So we created offices of decarbonization and energy transformation in regions. We covered 8 regions: Dnipro, Vinnytsia, Kharkiv, Mykolaiv, Odessa. Many regions where we opened these offices so that to collect applications and help them to formalize these applications. As we started to work very fruitfully with international organizations. Today, I would like to use this opportunity to thank, because creation of the Decarbonization Fund, which is in 2025, delivered loans for 135 billion and 35 million for municipalities and regions. They opened lots of solar projects and energy efficiency projects in municipalities. I wanted to thank UNIDO and UNDP because we opened a separate resolution and we involved money through ESCO. I wanted to help thank the Danish project with whom we implemented 7-year project. 7 years ago, there was an agreement that was created that works in Europe for a long time. So that's how to create the cooperation between local authorities and industries, not through the pressure, but as a colleague was speaking, but through free agreement. You provide the assistance and you get this obligation to reduce the consumption and emissions, and it is not through pressure, but with a new format of cooperation while implementing all European directives and the experience of our European colleagues. I wanted to thank everyone today for this work and what is for the international partners, and namely the EIB. I will start with the ERBD. So we involve money for the Decarbonization Fund to speed up more and more to make faster the decarbonization measures all around Ukraine. And in this case, we have a successful case. And at this point, we also look at joint project with European Investment Bank in Odessa region, where the Fund of the Decarbonization of Ukraine, municipality of local and regional level, they provide as a small subvention, and European Investment Bank. How do you think we discussed this project for 1 year and a half? Incredible. It cannot be implemented, not because there is a problem despite bureaucratic and difficult procedures of European Investment Bank, and not the problem of a fund of decarbonization, but the problem is the local legislation that does not allow, not on the local level, the legislation which reduces powers of municipal countries, local gramadas. So we provided all our opinions. provided opinions of all committees. So I hope that all this system and local authorities will unite to simplify, make them easy, honest, and approachable. It's very important that assures all sides of the process and civil servants and local authorities and our partners and for the access to this resource. So I hope all this project will make this project faster and fulfillment of obligations before the European Commission for achievement of indicators. And on my side, I would like to say that we will build and build and build. And I wrote a lot of letters. I wanted to make the globalization fund also transparent because since the beginning, and Torsten knows, I invited him into the supervisory board and all international partners who have mandates. Please participate. Really introduce your incredible experience. As before, the colleague was saying that it comes with the mother's milk. We will be in European countries, and please provide your experience. We will make our institutions transparent, clear, and understandable, because unclarity and the mechanism is so intermingled, nobody knows how to knock on the door, and to get the service from those who will punish you immediately because you didn't do something. If anybody would tell their experience how they achieved this service. And finally, the energy efficiency fund. This year we opened the project and we started to finance together and help OSBB to make thermal modernization and introduce heat pumps and solar stations on multi-story buildings, because we know according to forecasts, wind. And I hope that in a very short period we implement this. We will implement this project. We try to involve more and more finances to make our institution clear and transparent. Please ask. So we have a local component, the CO2 tax, and we have 2 more programs through Ukrebank and Sense Bank for municipalities and municipality companies and industry and the decarbonization fund. We have the problems this finance. So if you don't know something, you understand something, please write to emails. Please contact us. We will do everything possible to make it more approachable.
Very encouraging.
Thank you very much.
With this invitation for people to come. Of course, I think our panel still needs to clarify what is the best or the most efficient way to come. But I think we will come to this. We still have a bit of time. So next I would like to invite Olena Smyrnova from Swedfund for a short presentation on the Swedish angle to this question.
Thank you very much. I'll switch to Ukrainian as agreed.
Вам дякуємо. My greetings to you. A few words to be said about Swedfund. What are the activities of Swedfund in Ukraine? It is a financial institution for development, 40 years old. It is the role of is that to make contribution in the response to the challenges like poverty, inadequate resources distribution, and war in Ukraine, no doubt, is a priority of the fund work. We have 2 main instruments in the fund. Swedfund, investments in private companies. Here we work with private businesses. Normally, it is large or medium businesses who get to us and ask us to finance investment programs in the amount of from $5 to $20 million. Actually, we have this activity area, and second activity area is Project Accelerator. It's grant financing to prepare investment programs in the public sector. It is exactly what has already been mentioned to the feasibility study, project preparation, documentation preparation, all the assessments needed, тендерна документація тощо. And it is important to mention that how we merge all this. No doubt we work with the private sector. We give support to the state sector as well, to the public sector, and no doubt with this we have certain benefits for the people. Swedfund operations are very active. We have more than 40 projects in different phases. That is inception stages, project documentation, presentation, that is water sanitation, wastewater treatment, etc. Also, we work with the Ministry of Digitalization, with the Ministry of Internal Affairs. Also, we work closely with Pavlograd, Dobroslav. It's our municipal level projects, how we select projects. Our model here is, it concerns investments. It relies on the three pillars. First of all, we would like to have the projects that will be beneficiary for the people. For us, it's important to have sustainable results of the program, that is a creation of high-quality jobs, ethics, business integrity, and transparency. And all this done as well as financial viability, because we, as all who fund the projects, we would like to have our project to be implemented, not only the selection of nice-looking slides and talks, and also we implement the project by different industries and sectors. No doubt with this we could also invite Swedish businesses. It is energy projects, transport projects, safety solutions, what is used with the and public health and digitalization. No doubt there is a wide range of different projects in our pipeline. In the process of our work, we work closely with communities, and we also work with the national government, because we have an increasing number of projects we plan to implement. And we also work actively and engage actively donors, specifically those who will be donors in our future programs. EBRD, EC, etc. Emergency responses project. We have such a project with Ukernafta and with municipalities. Emergency response, and I know very many of these projects will be funded very soon. we attempt not only to facilitate work on the project preparation, but we also take efforts in order to facilitate the work on the project through all the phases. This is briefly what I plan to say.
Because I would like to have a bit of question and answers afterward, and we are already pretty much advanced on time, so I would like to ask my colleague Jean-Pierre to present a bit what the European Commission is doing, and practically on investments. Thank you.
Thank you, Torsten. Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, it's a great honor to be here today. It's not an easy task to be the final speaker at such a panel with such also interesting opening speech. But actually, it gave me some ideas on how to introduce the topic I was requested to talk about and today's discussion. I noted two aspects which are fundamental. We are talking about trust and something which I'm relatively new in the country. I've been here for a year. I have a background working 20 years in enlargement countries, from the smallest, Montenegro, to Turkey, in various difficult conditions. It's the first time I experienced such a condition, and so amazed by the capacity that you have and the presentation at the beginning on the trust on the civil society and certain groups and the lack of the middle. And here is a perfect introduction to the program I want to introduce you with. It's EU for Reconstruction. To come back to the remark of reconstruction in the sense of reconstruct what has been damaged, but to construct a future Ukraine. It is not to rebuild on the old. In this regard, the EU for Reconstruction is an initiative which has been just launched also in November. It is funded by the European Union, Denmark, Germany, France, and Lithuania. It was just launched 2 weeks ago for a 36 months period, with a starting budget of 37.5 million. And it's organized against two streams. French-German association on the stream 1, which I will expand a bit later, and then Lithuanian and Denmark stream. And it's being implemented together with the Ministry of Development, Saudi, and the Romadas and the communities. The implementing partners of this project are GIZ, Expertise France, who many of you may know as they are implementing several projects, notably GIZ EU Lead, Expertise France with Relève, as well as the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Denmark, very active also in Mikulova and other regions, and Lithuanian Central Project Management Agency, who has a long experience. Lithuania is a very, let's say, in terms of integration in the EU process, they have been a very good example to follow in many areas. So the purpose of this using the opportunity to see Alla also on the PIM reform and the colleagues, you have got a presentation from the Ministry of Economy explaining you the framework. My colleagues presented you the tools, and actually, as introduced by Jocelyn at the beginning of this conference, EU for Construction aim at providing the software, the linkage between where is the money available and what is the system to be developed to ensure a reconstruction in an effective, accountable, and transparent manner with an inclusive process building on a modern reconstruction framework, a public investment management framework, and the sensitivity to the different levels of governance. As you may know, in the EU integration process, decentralization, regional policies are key to successful and balanced and an inclusive society. So this program is building up and is aiming at 5 outputs that I will present here briefly. So reform of the leadership and coordination by supporting the Ministry of Development and Saudi into setting up the process to ensure the reflecting the needs of the municipalities to have a bottom-up approach, having directly relationship with the local government and their empowerment into the new system, strengthening the capacity of specifically Saudi in the light of its mandate across the country, then a component on a specific on the construction sector reform, and finally, last but not least, the engagement of the civil society and media in whether it is contributing or also a watchdog function towards this process. So under one of the stream, there is the French and German association consortium, under this project will support directly up to 50 medium-sized Romada with strategic and spatial planning tasks, project scoping, project management, preparing pre-feasibility study. So actually to prepare the ground for projects to apply to the funding that were indicated by the colleagues, for example. And this is going to be key. For example, we are already liaising with the Swiss funds, which is going to start very soon, or just starting, because it is fundamental that we coordinate well among the various donors on the procedures and on the type of projects, as well as the standards to have to really achieve quality project to be submitted to funding parties and financiers. One small note, as indicated in the beginning of my presentation, the project just started, so we are still in the inception phase, and the selection of Romadas participating will be done through several rounds, and the inception period is lasting until the end of the year. So, unfortunately, to respond to the question, it's not yet in full action. I don't have an address to give you to reach out to this program, unfortunately, not yet. It will come very soon. The other part, and more with the lead of the Denmark and Lithuanian stream, will be to support up to five cities, including Mykolaiv, and here also on strategic planning and the implementation of the PIM reform, which was introduced by my colleague Alla, improving the quality of the public investment projects, and going further into implementing corporate governance standards. And I see that the slide, which was translated by our second interlocutor, is very relevant to this point here, because it's exactly the core of the topic. And here I would like to highlight a process which most likely for Romadas seems to be bureaucratic or cumbersome, but it's not only a checklist. It's the new process of the PIM reform with the mid-term investment planning, local development planning, is the fundamental to establish the trust between the local and the higher level of governance. And this is how you will be able to reconstruct damaged objects due to the unfortunate situation, as well as construct an inclusive society and ensure a sound development of all regions in the country. And to close, I just wanted to give an overall picture of the process we are talking about today, which is the public investment management reform, where in order to get the financing, the municipalities, thanks to their local development planning and their investment planning with the setting up of investment council, will enable raising their voice to the higher level of governance, notably using the DREAM platform as a means of communication, and therefore attract the attention of the financier as well as the PPF to enable the preparation of the given project and at the end access financing. So being conscious of the time, I just would like to thank you all for these excellent initiatives and open to continue the discussion. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Payif. I hope we still have, the organizers give us maybe 5 more minutes for questions and answers. I see a big smile, so I think I'm fine. Any questions in the room to any of our panelists? If you are too shy, no. Thanks, excellent. Ladislav.
That's what I got. I mean, I don't do anything with it. We have been presented a number of different initiatives. Are they somehow coordinated between themselves? Because basically they are, from perspective of municipality, they are somewhat similar. How are they coordinated? Do you have a kind of single window approach. I would ask this way. Thank you.
Maybe to make it even more concrete, let's take a hypothetical example. I'm a manufacturer of ice cream, somewhere in these gray zones on the map that we have seen, so a smaller town. And I want to, and I have already invested in my own energy security because I had blackouts and my production needs electricity all the time. But now the mayor, the school director, the hospital director, they all say, well, can we somehow profit from your expertise because we also need safe electricity. We need to do something together. The mayor is in favor, etc. So this group of people, where should they go? They want to do, let's say, a small energy secure island for public infrastructure and for a factory which is vital for the city or for the town. So where should they go? Should they go to Zamazeeva or should they go to you? Just, it's the same question.
Я правильно зрозуміла, куди ви...
As far as I understand, where they should go and what they should do, first of all,
they need expertise and they want to do this quickly. They have a bit of money, but they would definitely also profit from additional investment funds. So, and they don't, and it's new. It's not, rebuilding the Soviet Union. That's really something new. So where should they go? Where do they start? And how would you somehow be able to help them?
Я б сама хотіла задати комусь таке.
I would like to ask the question to someone, myself. Really, it's about the honesty, about the values. I don't know what to do in their places because we have numbers of ministries, agencies, proposals. They have so many conditions, limited resources, and where to run. Really, it's a problem. And I think that he, as always, just call to a friend and ask him, can we do this? Because really, you created a new problem. Thanks for the municipalities. But in fact, mayors of cities, plus minus, they are informed. For me, it's like a Bible. In every community, in every country, the company, there should be an energy manager. Please, Vsevolod, please tell us, Svetoslav, your energy manager. So he should know everything about all programs, where to run, or how to save yourself, and to whom contact. And so the energy manager should be the beginning. So we had the EIB program, you need them, and everyone knows all. We did it lots of times, and there should be one person inside who knows the resources, the potential, how much should he need, and how to supply critically, what is the energy program, the fund, and so yes, it should be there, but the state lacks it now. People ask me, and I tell myself I don't know about all programs, and I hear about all of them as everyone else. So we should do something just to know how. But on our side, we are responsible. For this side, they should have an energy manager. He should be responsible. He knows your potential, what to supply, where to find, and inside the community as well. What are the resources? What are boilers? What resources? Some hydro power. So energy management is the first step, and all others later. I would build it myself in my community, and or maybe in some mission, and if it is a private business or municipal business, and so.
To be done. Other questions? Yes, please, you were first.
Вітаю, Олександра Бетлій.
Alexandra Mitli, Institute of Political Consultation. I would like to ask this question as Svetoslav asked, but I would like to repeat it once again in a different way than you, Torsten, put it. about the coordination of donors. If you looked at the map, it was prepared 1 year and a half later. The donors goes in the same regions, in the same communities, and we have lots of blank spots where nobody is there. It depends on the energy capacity of the Gramada, and Mr. Sokomlen was speaking a lot today. But the question is, if we have the coordination platform for donors, and we heard about the experience of Switzerland, of Sweden, European Investment Bank, how to coordinate this support for people. If I don't have an energy manager, if I don't have an architect, and my community is weak for many reasons, why it is important? Because not to go to Trostenets and not to go to Lviv because the mayors are super good there, but how to coordinate and the coordination of our needs, of the needs. When we speak about the incapacity of the Gramada, so how to find about every donor, what to do with lots of the requirements. My question is for the donors, of course. Because to have the requirements may be similar, because the Prozora, they on one side, Prozora and European Investment Bank, some other requirements, World Bank, they're allowed to use Prozora. Where to find these coordinations? And I think that it should be done by bigger funds to make it possible. Thank you. Хто є волонтером? My problem is not as the donors. Different countries, the different approaches, different legislations. They have their own rules. The problem is inside of us, because we, for example, Ukraine Invest. Everyone knows. So we help the donors to enter Ukraine as like. Investment nurse, but under the president, the Congress, I was the deputy head of Congress, and they called me, Anya, please help us. How to find donors? I don't have the capacity to prepare documents, but I don't know whom to call. And for example, the Danish, they do for everything for Mykolaiv region, Lithuanians for everything for Zhytomyr, Brussels for Chernigiv, and so, and Belgium, and it's our problem because we didn't do it for our communities like reinvestments that would have to coordinate all applications from donors, because the president speaks on the Congress, and Andrei Borisovich was saying, so we just pushed all the donors, please go to them, but we don't know to whom to run. We don't know their load, how they are loaded. It is our problem inside, I think. When we work with the donors, they have their own mandates, they have their own specialities, because they tried not to put in one place, because someone is with the green recovery, the others, they use cogeneration or district heating. Someone does like solar generation or maybe storages, and they try not to overcome each other. And you are right that the bigger gramadas, they have potentials. They select they pump up everything, but the donors, they go to successful ones with bigger KPIs. They need to show to their donors that those who give the money, and those should give the successful cases. So we need to speak about it ourselves for the associations of gramadas, and even to ask the cabinet of ministers to create this authority that will select the donors.
And they will kick us out. So, yeah, you have the first. Yes.
Дякую, Олег Загніт.
Thank you, Alex Zagnita, Eurity Legal Company Integrity. For the first question, please, the question to the donors, please make your activity more transparent. If you have a program for 6 months, please write how much money you already distributed. Maybe it is not needed to contact you. And the question maybe to the representative from Ministry of Economy about the reform of public investments and the cooperation with private sector. Please help us to understand. We need to go into the single portfolio. If you have sources of finances, if you have the sources of finances, you cannot make a public partnership for this. You don't have the flexibility if people are selected already. But to enter the single portfolio, we don't have the sources of finances. Is it correct? Yes, I would like to reflect to the previous question and just to answer to your question. So the single window and creation of this window is the main task of the reform of public investments. So we have the single system dream where all projects go that have sources or they need money for their implementation, and according to the basis of reforms, such portfolios should be done on local, regional, national levels. So every level should establish the pool of projects and their priorities for them, and they can correlate with regional or national level, but they should define their own priority, which is relevant to their own gromadas. When these projects, when they are approved by the local investment councils, they become public and approachable in the system, where a donor or community or the state can enter to see what is the priority. We can make the analysis of available sources or the projects that they have already sources, those who are at the beginning phases of investment, and accordingly, as I said, there is an existing agency working group. They worked on the national level, but now, according to the new approaches, they will work on portfolios of regions and gromadas, and they will make selections, and they will take the projects that need assistance in preparation, and they propose them to donor organizations in the programs of preparing of projects, and the result of this preparation will be the capacity building and the real opportunity to get finances, because these projects will be fully ready. As for cooperation with the DPP, these are DPP projects. They are public, and during the evaluation they initiate should decide if it is a DPP project or he needs the assistance from preparation programs. Everything is defined during the evaluation and is shown in the system.
Last question. There was a gentleman there in the back. You wanted to ask a question? No. Then let's go to the other side. There is one. Yes, please.
Шановні друзі,
Dear friends, Yuri Strelchenko, Secretary of City Council from the position of Gramadas, I would like to point out that really we are in the situation when we don't have chances to revise the projects that are low-quality projects. So considering that everyone understands how difficult the staff situation is inside the communities, so first of all, the issue of expert community would be environment will be very cool, but Gramadas they suffer from other factors because, for example, we don't have data that are accumulated in the monopolist organizations, and to create a high quality municipal plan, we need to pass 1 year and a half to go and find data everywhere, but finally the data are not accurate, as Sergei was saying, because we need the need is several times is less, and so maybe the government could be involved also, and they will let Gramadas to speak with real figures and speak about real needs with consumption. And energy manager is normally it's an accountant that accounts the energy. I see Svetoslav is nodding, but the question is, never any institution was saying, do we need an account or not? But if we have, if we look at some the laws about energy efficiency, some resolutions, programs inside the program in the Gramadas, but we don't have a single rules. And we need an energy manager. It's free. It's voluntary now. But if we wanted to be a European country, we need to have an energy manager not only in a Gromada but in every company. So it means it should be to create a system. So the government should help us to create the system of energy management on the basis of which we will build our energy independence. And third question, myself, for the last 2 months in my 2 projects that we were the customers, we face the situation. The project passes the evaluation and estimation of money, and when we find the contractor, we see with full renovation, we see 20% of big amount. So we are not experts, we are not specialists. We need the decision of the project institutions, not to see the police coming to me asking me, you finish one project and how do you find this money, and then they open a criminal case. But the design company should be responsible in this case. We will increase the transfer for the donors who finance our project. But today, unfortunately, the Gromadas cannot influence this process because we don't have experts, but we trust just pieces of papers and expert opinion that studies the estimates. So please, we need to have a precise control to prepare very high quality projects for donors.
But one question was 3, but I think was super useful, especially because it comes back to our topic of trust. What can we all do together? In all the, so starting from the people that are trusted most, to the people who are trusted less. No, not the real one that less. The Russians we keep out, but all the others. So what can we do to increase trust? So I would like to close also this panel with a question, the answer to this question, and also how we can contribute also from the international side on this critical. I mean, we have seen all the instruments that we have, and there are many, many more. Huh? They're not all. Everybody is in the panel, but it's not only about money. It is about investing in trust and investing in the future. So who volunteers on answering the questions? No, you don't volunteer.
Побудова довіри, як вже зазначав.
To build the trust, as we said, the basis is a transparent and clear mechanism, clear for all participants from Gromada's regions and international financial organizations that are ready to provide assistance. So all together, only common work and will help us to build a reliable and transparent system. So I will speak in a simple language. So today the topic is said just blame the authorities only, but really the problem is in this side. So as you said, let's make them clear. But nothing is clear. I read myself, read, but then we come together and what they wanted to say, how to do, where is the roadmap to go from A to point B, how to ride. So let's say the first dimension, it is in the dimension of the Ministry of Development of Communities and Territories. The second is the law on municipal energy plans, or Ministry of Development of Communities. Should they change anything, so you achieve and get this municipal plan without this coefficient, you can do it through another element. But they tell us we will not do it. Let them change the law, and they will make the heads of the communities, and those say we will not change it. So you will need it on the local level. So this is the trust, and it is the element when all the participants of the process they come together and to not have lobbying, because the design companies they not have lobbyists, but those who protect their interests. So accordingly, there should be all participants of this ecosystem to come together and take decision, and then to coordinate and approve very fast. But we create a working group, then another working group on this working group, and then some 100,000 meetings and the minutes, and everyone forgets everything. So when we speak, when that authority should do it and do reforms, we should do them openly, fast, with all participants openly in front of the camera when these issues are decided, and then go into the regulatory acts and pass very open hearing where everyone has the opportunity to express themselves. We know this procedure, we know everything, but we need just to unite it, to become one single ecosystem, because this is the only question we put it with. We see Svetoslav every year, and we see every September with the water supply companies, and nothing changes from one year to another. So I don't go to these meetings anymore, because nothing is possible, because one institution cannot change. But as of today, it is said we needed to change on the level of the authorities, not to change not the trust, but our procedure, and the rules should be precise, because we themselves in the system we don't understand, and we need to explain when we accept the regulatory acts what we meant. So thank you
for the very interesting discussion, and I hope we will continue over lunch. Thanks a lot also for the questions, and then we will continue after. Well, no, okay, I'm in your hands.